What a joke to read today that the Albanese government has launched an austerity drive. And in the public service, hundreds of jobs must go, thousands. The government has run out of your money, I think. Now, this is a joke for two reasons. One, austerity from this government, I mean, really? It's actually hired an extra 38,000 public servants in just 3 years and paid them so much more that the bill for them all has jumped 10% 2 years ago and another 9.5% in the last financial year. And two, here is this government now quietly wanting to cut the public service just 6 months after an election campaign where it warned that this is exactly what those wicked Liberals would do.
If we are backing Australia's future, they're sacking Australian public servants.
There were even Labor ads back then about how those nasty cut Liberals wanted to sack public servants, like the public servants that Labor is now cutting itself.
His cuts to Medicare will make our health system more like America. His job cuts will destroy public services. Our economy is only just recovering from the skyrocketing inflation and trillion-dollar debt left by the last Liberal government. There's nothing stable about an Australia under Dutton. He cuts, you pay.
Joining me is Sky News host Danica De Giorgio and Mia Schlicht of the Institute of Public Affairs. Mia, what's the message here? Liberals sack public servants? Bad. Labor sacks public servants? Good.
Yeah, look, Labor doesn't play fair, we know this, when they're prosecuting a policy or an argument or a campaign. It's not grounded in principle or in value, it's about winning. At the end of the day, Labor is a campaign machine. So during the time of the federal election, it suited them to spin this narrative that the Liberal Party was going to cut all these public service jobs and that was going to lead to disastrous outcomes for so many Australians. But now that they're in a position where they've run the economy into the ground and they've basically run out of all money and they're looking to pinch pennies wherever they can, it's now suiting their position to start talking about public service cuts. The problem is at the time, the Liberal Party didn't prosecute the argument. They ran away from it. But I mean, to call this austerity cuts, are we living in La La Land? I mean, come on. To put the problem in context, in the last financial year, the public service has grown by 3.26%. Now, that is double the amount the Australian population grew in that same time. The public service, the growth of the public service is a huge problem. It's hurting all Australians, and I think it's a shame that we're not taking this problem more seriously.
You could fill a reasonable-sized country centre with the number of public servants hired by this government in 3 years, Danica, but what do you make of this austerity drive?
Oh, it really is a comedy skit show. You know what I most vividly remember from the last election that we had this year, Andrew, was Peter Dutton put forward a plan for Doge-style cuts, and I think it was a very sensible type of plan, given that the public service has become a behemoth. And what did Labor and Anthony Albanese do? They painted him as Donald Trump 2.0. Look out, if you work for the public service, Donald Trump 2.0, aka Peter Dutton, is coming after you. And clearly it was successful, and I do agree with Mia that the coalition did not prosecute this properly. So Peter Dutton has gone, and now 6 months later, Labor's done a copy and paste effort, but under the guise of a positive austerity drive. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. And the reason why, it has had no choice, because this government has run the economy into the ground. It has gone flat. Government spending now makes up 27% of GDP, 27%. And now Labor's got to hand down a mid-year budget review next month in December, and they're probably thinking, gee, it doesn't look too good at all. The public service is a monster. There's more than 1 million across the country. That's both federally, state and local. But the problem is, Andrew, is that Labor federally have spent money on all sorts of bizarre things, not only inflating departments, but they're also doing cultural drives. That they've even put a survey out suggesting that now there's been a huge increase in the amount of people who identify as gender X in the public service as opposed to male and female. I mean, that is where their priorities are. So government spending is at record levels. Inflation's gone up because of it. The public sector is completely inflated. It means that everyday Aussies are reliant on the government, and we're all paying the price.
I don't want to get too philosophical, Mia, on this show, but I'm going to give it a burl. The Prime Minister today made a very telling admission, by accident really. He was a bit surprised and only cottoned on when the opposition started laughing. It caused a ruckus today when he was responding to a question about his lack of action on gaming ads. Here he is.
I thank the member for her question to me as Prime Minister, but I'm also leader of the Australian Labor Party. And we are a political party, not a bunch of individuals. And what we do is we make decisions.
Mia, your response to that admission that Labor is not the party for individuals, you were just looking at members of a tribe there all going, bah.
Yeah, look, this admission didn't really shock me at all. We all know that the Labor Party is not the party for individuals. It's well known that you either toe the party line or you get kicked out. So in that way, the admission did not shock me at all. But look, the Labor Party for a long time, it has been the political wing for the trade union movement. It is there to represent sectional interests. It's plain and simple as that. And now, as Labor involvement in the private sector has diminished, they have run around trying to represent any kind of left-wing sectional interests that they can gather together, and that's what they're to do. They are not there to represent the interests of individuals.
Honestly, Danica, when I hear that, I'm reminded back in the day when a couple of Labor ministers, talking previous governments of course, would talk to me about how frustrated they were by Labor's global warming policies even then. And I wonder, when I hear things like that, how many are quietly seething at what this party's doing but don't dare speak out against this tribal culture?
Well, no, I mean, they probably are sitting back at home going, goodness me, what's happened? You know, when I listen to that quote, Andrew, I feel like it's open to interpretation. I interpreted it in two ways. One, it was as if to say, you know, we are the collective, we are the socialist movement. I mean, I just spoke about there being a culture of dependency in this country right now on Labor. That is one example. But then the other example, I thought the exact quote was, we are a political party and not a bunch of individuals. Well, when I think of individuals in the Labor Party, what a fantastic week to be talking about individuals. I mean, Chris Bowen, number one individual in the Labor Party, off on a vanity trip, becoming Australia's first part-time energy minister on a fly-in, fly-out basis. So I think there are a lot of individuals right now within that party, I would say. So open to interpretation.
Well, there is that. But back to the business of the day, Pauline Hanson's burka stunt just yesterday. Now, the opposition has joined Labor and the Greens in attacking it, and in attacking Barnaby Joyce, who's just about to announce is joining Hanson's One Nation party. Now, obviously, the coalition is thinking or hoping that Hanson went so far that this is the time her balloon pops and they must help pop it. How do you read it? Has Hanson's stunt hurt One Nation? Has it helped it, or neither?
Well, look, I think it'll be the same time as when she ran this stunt last time. There'll be a very vocal group who is in support of the stunt, and there'll be a very vocal group who is against the stunt. But ultimately, whether this ends up helping or hurting Pauline Hanson, I think will depend on how she continues on with the argument, how she prosecutes it, because I do think she has a very valid point to make here, and that's regardless of whether you agree with banning the burqa or not, if we put that to one side, the fact is she is a senator and she has the right to table this motion, and she has the right to debate the issue and make her argument. And she was not allowed to make the argument. And I think there are so many mainstream Australians out there right now who are sick and tired of not being able to make their argument, whether that's to do with climate change, whether that's to do with immigration or social cohesion. We have an extremely arrogant government who thinks it is okay to shut down debate when it is an issue that they don't feel good about. And that is where I think Pauline Hanson might gain some support here amongst mainstream Australians who are tired of being shut down.
Honestly, Danica, also kicking her out, I get people upset with the gesture of wearing the burqa, right? And there'll be people quite upset about it. But kicking out an elected MP or senator for a week, stifling her ability to represent the state that she was elected to serve, strikes me as a little over the top.
Of course it is. And even though she's been censured, it's not going to get rid of this topic. People are still going to talk about it. I mean, that is the topic of the day. You go out for lunch, people are talking about it. You've got family and friends talking about it. So well done to the left and the right of politics. It's not going to go anywhere. Look, I actually think this has helped her cause greatly, to be honest. I mean, Pauline Hanson is one of only a very few number of politicians who are willing to say and do what she's thinking, and without fear or favour. I mean, she puts herself out there and risks being called a racist, and she doesn't care because she's passionate about the topic. She's a politician. She was elected to do so, and I say good on her. I mean, you know, in the end, more than 20 countries, Andrew, around the world have banned the burqa. A lot of them are Muslim nations. So she is right to put forward this debate in this country. You don't have to agree with it. She tried to put it forward in the Senate. It was shut down. Was it a stunt on her part? Yes, it was, but it's not like we haven't seen stunts recently in the Senate. Look at Maureen Faruqi wearing a keffiyeh, Sarah Hanson-Young bringing a dead fish into Parliament. But it also comes at a time where there are a lot of issues that are red hot that she's talking about. Look at migration, for example. I mean, there have been some people brought into this country whose values do not align with a Western democracy. We are a Western democracy. We are a democratic country. We have the right to have these debates. I think that what happened in the Senate by censuring her is appalling. It's not going to go anywhere. In fact, I think this will just empower her more.
Well, if they'd just let her speak for 5 minutes, it'd all be over. I doubt anyone would have even reported it. Danica De Giorgio, Mia Schlick, thank you very much to you both.